Stan says, I'm thinking of having my mom sign her house over to me so that she won't have to sell it if she goes into the nursing home and runs out of money. Is this a smart move?
Oh, well, maybe, maybe not. So first off, I'd say, are you an only child? So if mom's signing over the house just to you, are there any other kids that might want that house? I would wonder about that. And two, you may need to know that as long as either the Medicaid beneficiary or their spouse, which I don't know from the question whether or not your dad is still in the picture or not, but if the beneficiary or the spouse does live in the home, Medicaid cannot take the home or force a sale. And matter of fact, all 50 states and DC actually have what's called Medicaid Estate Recovery Programs, or MERP for short. And those programs, they used to be optional, but became mandatory with the passing of the Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act of 1993. And so what happens now is, following a death of a Medicaid recipient, the MERPs can attempt to be reimbursed the funds in which the state paid for long-term care for that individual. And that could be for in-home care, that could be community-based care, that could be adult daycare, you name it, nursing home care. And so, but you need to note that with the exception of nursing home care, if the deceased Medicaid recipient wasn't 55 years old or older, they are actually exempt from the MERP. So being exempt means that the state will not attempt to reimburse any of the funds that were used to pay for Medicaid. So that's good. So using that estate recovery program to get reimbursed, that's really the way that these companies are going to do that. And it's often the only asset a deceased Medicaid applicant still has of any significant value, the home. And so to be clear, the estate recovery does not apply when the Medicaid recipient's still living. It only applies when they pass away and they're unmarried. All right. And so, said another way, if a Medicaid applicant dies and still has a living spouse, Medicaid cannot attempt to recover those long-term care costs. And most states have a limited time frame also, generally 1 year following the death of a Medicaid recipient. You might want to check your own state to find out what that is. And so they've really only got 1 year after that Medicaid recipient passes away to try to file for any type of estate recovery. So that's if you're married. If your mom is single, when she relocates to a nursing home, what you'll want to do is provide a written statement that indicates a, quote, intent to return home. For those of you that can't see, if you're not watching this on YouTube, I've got air quotes going on. Intent to return home, right? That will allow your home to remain exempt under Medicaid rules, as long as you have an equity interest under a specified value, which I think usually starts around 600,000. And so essentially that intent to return home statement protects your home from Medicaid while you're in the nursing home facility. And without that, then your home would make you ineligible for Medicaid. So therefore you'd have to sell it and then use the proceeds for your nursing home care until you finally were eligible for Medicaid. So if you do opt for that intent to return home statement, you got to remember that expenses for the home, like property taxes, insurance, mortgage, if you still got one, right? Those are still going to need to be paid. And without any, friends or family that might be there to help cover the costs of those home expenses, that's usually not feasible given the small Medicaid asset limit, generally $2,000 for assets, and personal care allowance is about anywhere from like $30 to $100 a month for a person on nursing home Medicaid. So the majority of one's income is required to go towards the cost of the nursing home and not towards, the property taxes or the mortgage, if that's still there, right? And so the problem with that, though, is if the state believes that your stay in a nursing home is going to be a permanent arrangement, they can file a lien against your home. Now, what that does not mean is that you have to sell it immediately. It does not mean that. It simply means that when your house is sold, the state will receive money from the sale to reimburse them the cost of the Medicaid funded care first, right? And so if the home is still sold while you're alive, obviously the proceeds from the sale are going to disqualify you from Medicaid until you've spent those down as well. So you don't want to do that. You don't really want to sell your house until after you have passed, or you don't want your house sold until after you pass, because you're not going to be the one doing the selling. So upon your death, though, that's when the state is able to file a claim against your estate, which could include your home, in order to collect those funds. There's also, if you wanted to try to put that into some type of irrevocable trust, the problem with that is there is a 5-year look back on that in most states. You might want to talk with an estate planning attorney on whether or not that makes it right, or whether or not any of those things would be right for you. In this case, the irrevocable trust 5-year look back, obviously you're going to want to do that far before you might think that you're going to need any type of long-term care needs. Yeah.
But also you had come out with another episode here recently talking about filial law and the nursing homes being able to go after your family members if the one that is in the nursing home does not have assets. Some states can come after the family members, so definitely check that episode out as well.
Siblings, kids, you name it. And that might have been just like 2-3 episodes ago, I think. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, smash the notification bell. That way you're always updated whenever we bring on new content. And we're going to try to hit so many different subjects so that you can find yourself possibly in some of these examples that we give. And if that is an area that you need help in, reach out to us. Our information is going to be in the notes here. You go to millerretirementgroup.com. There's ways to reach out to us there. I think our link to our calendar is going to be in here. If anybody ever wants a free 15-minute phone call consultation to find out whether or not there's anything that we can do to help out your specific situation, let us know. We want to empower you to live the type of retirement that you deserve. Thank you and take care.